feelings are moments. And when we give them stories, sometimes they tend to stick around a little bit longer because we make stories and stories become us. So you say history. When you think about history, even though history, most of what we experience as history is something that we never actually experienced. Like never really experienced. It's something that happened, but it's a story, and that story in subtle ways dictates how we feel and the choices we make about our lives today. So think about our own experience individually. When a feeling arises and we attach a story to it, usually unknowingly, but when we attach a story to it, we have to be careful. We have to be careful because the story, we unconsciously begin to build a persona around that story because we use that story to define why the feeling was there in the first place. So I'm feeling lonely because nobody loves me. Like nobody likes me. So that's why I'm alone. Yeah, that's a story. And that kind of story can really affect a person's decisions about how they move around in the world. Because the story, in a way, in order to define ourselves by that story, we have to recreate the feeling. So to perpetuate the story that nobody likes me means I have to create lonely situations in order to live within that understanding of what the world is. Does that make sense? It's like when the feeling arises, the quickest way that we can accept it and release without attachment to a story, I think that's the goal. And if we have to attach a story to it in the moment in order to help the body understand that it's not a threat in the moment anymore because we understand it, like things that we don't understand tend to be more threatening than things we do understand, even if it's not good. That's how the ego works. It's like the ego can control what it understands. And so it's going to want to create scenarios that it understands. I say it because it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's alive, but it's not alive. But we all are. We all are both alive and not alive. Just depends on how you define alive, but anyway, back to the idea of like creating a story about a felt experience, a feeling, an emotion. Telling a story about an emotion is dangerous. Well, I mean, it's only dangerous if we don't know that it's happening. As soon as one becomes aware, then they have the power of choice. Until they're not aware, there's no power of choice. That's why there's so much power in manipulating people by withholding information. Because you're basically taking away somebody's power of choice. So in any situation where somebody's withholding information from you and you become aware that information is being withheld from you, you must withdraw your energy as much as possible, because that situation is taking away your autonomy, your power of choice, because you don't have the choice to decide based on there's information that is not part of your scope of understanding, and therefore that becomes a threat. It can be used against you. It can be a weapon. Like, truth is maybe the most valuable thing that exists. I don't know. Well, that's a fucking good one. I don't know. We'll just keep going. We'll cut it up into a bunch of small things. All the small things. So what originally got me on this little stream of consciousness here is I was thinking about this theme of loneliness, which has been playing out in my... I don't know if I want to do it like this. There. Anyway. Not my beautiful nails. So we've got this theme of loneliness right now. And it's a story we tell ourselves. Like, the story I told myself is that, like, literally I was in some form unlovable. And at some point in my life, that story got me through an emotional experience. But for some reason, that story... Well, that's the reason. It's like when one creates a story, it creates something that one can attach to. Like that, you know, that's kind of like what I think, I don't know what they say, logos, like the word made flesh is the power of words, of thoughts, of communications, of interpretations. I mean, everything is literally filtered through each unique belief system. Some of those things about the experience are shared. Most of them are not in totality. But it's like, I want to stick to loneliness. I want to think about loneliness for a second here. I think that for me, some of what I'm experiencing is like there is a part of the process of awakening where I realize that in order to have a relationship or to even explore the possibility that a higher understanding of the experience exists, in order to even just have an understanding, not to define it, not to say this is what it is, like just to have any hope of knowing that it exists, has to be done in solitude. Anything else is literally a distraction. Even this video, even you watching this video right now, even me recording this video, well, on some level I'm tapped into something, and I'm thankful for that because I am in solitude. But I'm also communicating, and what I'm communicating is going through my belief system, and I'm like, oh, am I talking too slow? Am I talking too fast? Like, are people gonna like it? Like, those things are part of my belief system, and so this is inherently being filtered through that. But that's part of the experience. That's part of the higher level of understanding. It's like, on some level, I come back to, I just don't have to worry about it because, like, I'm just supposed to do the experience and not worry so much about how others perceive the doing of the experience. Because we're each doing our experience. Like, who cares? But loneliness. So there's maybe an aspect of the human experience that draws us to each other. You know, survival is definitely something that we have depended largely on our ability to function in groups. Like, that's a huge part of how we've survived for so long. We share responsibilities, you know, we can function as a whole. And I think that's really like a situation where we thrive as far as that goes. But, you know, we're going through a process right now, and the process is helping us understand how we view the world in a dualistic way, creating like subconscious competitive scenarios with each other, and you know, like, yeah, I think about that kind of stuff. And so on some level, the benefits of working together as a community have actually like become a little bit, it's too small. Like, we need to expand on our process of relating to each other, because, you know, the benefits of being in community have just sort of turned into like weird codependent things that we don't know why we do or how to stop it. And so we have to come back to the higher perspective, like the hive mind. And it's hard because we think that in order to get to that hive mind, we have to be stable in our foundation, in our security. And in a way, yes, if we're stable, we can definitely tap into that, I think, more easily. But we have to wake up first. And the waking up can really only happen in like intensity. You know, there's like being alone, and then there's being with the one and the many. Interesting. So yeah, there has to be an aspect of the human experience that is in solitude. That's it. It's like we create these worlds where it's all like we're constantly interacting with other people. And in the times when we're not interacting with other people, we literally have like something else happening. A podcast, music, a movie, like, I mean, even this, you know, I'm here in solitude in this moment. Yet this device creates a scenario in which I'm not alone. Like, it's so fascinating. But being in solitude definitely has, I understand that, like, in order to reach a spiritual, like a higher level up of understanding, you know, one has to be like a monk and this and that, or you have to be able to live in a space that's just so easy, like all of your needs are taken care of. And but really, like, the thing about it is like one can find solace in that experience only when they release the fear of the security, because life just becomes the flow of a river, and some days are more tumultuous than others. Some days it flows really easy, Some days there's some rapids. Sometimes there's a waterfall. Sometimes it gets really close to drying up. But you just gotta like release the mind fear about it. And because it's like, it's kind of like that story, going back to the story. Okay, so if I feel like I'm lacking in something, and then I tell myself the story that I'm lacking because, you know, it's interesting. We either internalize the experience or we externalize the experience. And so when we create a story, it puts it under a judgment veil now. Instead of it just being a feeling in the moment, when one creates a story, now it has a color to it. It's like, we got to stop creating stories about everything, why everything is the way that it is. You know, even from my own experience, like, I understand what I feel, but I don't remember like exactly where that situation came from. I don't remember specific people's faces or times when traumatic things happen, but I remember feelings. I remember feeling a certain way. And it's like, I kind of want to rewrite. Sorry, this is so loud. I can't cut this like this. It's like we want to rewrite the history to be something that can just exist, and see it from like a perspective where it's part of an ebb and flow. If we're going to have a dualistic view, then it's going to be like, if we're going to have a dualistic view, then the whole point of the duality is like to go back and forth. The dualistic viewpoint is only here to help us see the other part of the whole, because that is also part of us. And so we can't see it. And if we externalize the dualistic thinking perspective, then we have this tendency to attach to the idea that the thing outside of us is the cause, that is like, that it's bad, that it's showing us the other side. It may be that something externalized feels very opposite to the experience, but does that make it bad? Even if it hurts and causes pain, like, the experience is, there's so many levels to it. Like, there's an external part, there's also an internal part, and an internal part from the external as well. Like, there's things at play here that are just impossible to quantify in one story that is created in a split second following an emotional experience. Like, it is way more complex than that. If we think that we can build our entire reality on these little stories that we tell ourselves, like after we get hurt or whenever something happens to us, it's like stupid. Stupid. All right. Well, it's been 20 minutes. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut this, and I'm gonna cut this.